So how's your firm right now, structure wise? I mean, team members and which direction you want to go right now?
Well, we're full service immigration law practice. We have about, let's just say, maybe 25 team members and six virtual assistants, and everybody else is either complete a hybrid rotation of some sort.
Hmm.
And we moved to a new location in November 2022, and we literally can only hold about 10 employees or team members at any given time. So that's why it works out well that we have virtual assistants and hybrid. But we've really seen a growth in litigation, from mandamuses to immigration court. And just, we're just riding those waves,
Yeah.
because we've gone through recessions, mini recessions, pandemics. And we know that that's why I enjoy being a full service practice, because I have multiple areas within immigration that we can focus on, and help our clients, especially if things are taking longer because courts closed or consulates are closed, or processing times are ridiculously long, like I-601As,
Oh,
4
yeah.
years. So that's where we're at. But I'm my immediate focus is to improve all of our systems and
Mhm.
leverage technology to scale. And that's really why I wanted to do this upcoming webinar together, because the law practice management aspect of the annual conference recently just really got me like excited about where things are going. And I just love sharing ideas, going, finding out, okay, I'm not crazy. This is what I think other people are thinking the same thing,
Yeah.
or, oh, cool idea. I hadn't heard of that before. So I get a real big kick out of conferences.
Yeah, and you said this operation, fine tune the operation for scaling is something that's been my major goal this year. Now that I have a team, it actually allows me to step back and look at it, and you find all these
Exactly.
failures left and right. I'm like, oh my god, what have we been doing all these years?
Right. Right. So, and that happened to me. An associate came back to the firm recently, and we'd worked together like a few years, and she's taken off a lot of pressure off of my normal day to day, and now I have a lot more clarity. And because of that, now I was just saying to a consultant recently, like I'm actually like seeing a lot of. I have the white space in my calendar to sort of
Yeah.
like breathe and see things I wasn't able to see, and that goes back to that whole concept of like working on your business, not in your business. And when you're doing so much of the day to day, which is a part of it, but like you really can't see the 30,000
Mhm.
foot view of like what the world looks like, and if you're, what could improve with your business.
You know, I watch TikTok and videos a lot, but it was something that some guy said that like the farther along the future you look, the higher you are in the food chain of the company, and the more probably money you make. So if you're thinking about today's stuff, just day to day, it's lower amount. But if you're thinking like 5, 10 years down the line, that means you're probably way up. And people who are billionaires had to plan out that far ahead of time. So the more you have time to spend thinking about what are we going to do in 3, 4 years from now, the more successful you'll end up being, and you are most likely.
Well, and the thing is that there's a struggle to get there, because you
Yeah.
have to find people, like you just said, you have this team now. You have to find people, you have to be able to delegate, you have to be
Mhm.
organized, you have to communicate, and then you have to trust, and then you have to and oversee. You can't just like
Yeah.
give it to them and walk away. You have to be able to check in and do quality control. And then with that freedom, then you can start seeing the bigger picture. But it doesn't come inherently. You have to be able to build to that. And that's a struggle, because a lot of business owners are in some type of you know, I don't want to say, there's just some sort of like a little bit of a trap of some sort, where they're just can't get that freedom to breathe. And I think that's another indicator of like how well you delegated in your systems, like how long can you go and things still run.
Yeah.
And when I did the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Businesses program like 8 years ago, I had to get away to go do my conference, or to do my class.
Yeah.
And it'd be half a day or it'd be a whole day. And that's when I really realized, like, was I the person who was just putting the finger and keeping everything, from spilling apart? Or was I the bottleneck, for whatever reason, because I hadn't empowered somebody else? That was a really good exercise for me,
Mhm.
because then I realized, how do I keep things going without me? And it's not all about me. Like, some people keep it that way because they want to feel needed, But, a lot of business owners don't think of it like this, but really a successful situation is that you work yourself out of a job, that
Yeah.
you've systemized the whole thing. But when I say that to people, usually their jaw drops and they think I'm crazy. But like
That's how successful businesses are. Yeah, it's weird thing. There's a lot of psychological issues dealing with like giving power away and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going on vacation tomorrow, and it's really important to see. I still am gonna check my phone and the computer, but one thing I recently did is that my emails for my office just go to info@jklaw.com, which is my email. But I create a separate email now, john@jklaw.com. And I'm
uh,
like, certain things like banking and stuff like that, which I got to do myself, some financial stuff I'm gonna send there. But I want to make it so in a virtual as a VA could go to that info@jklaw and do all the stuff there. So if I'm out for a week, there's someone there I could delegate and do stuff and give it to their associates, or so everyone could access it, kind of thing. And then if there's really urgent stuff that's maybe again financial, I got to write a check or something. It's me. So the goal is to have that email opened up, and that's I got to think about that every day. And I kind of forgot about it, and you remind me I got to focus on pushing people to that email if it's like a urgent thing. And the other
mhm,
thing, stop doing get less and less cases, and that's I get better at it some months and other months, but like not doing cases every day because those suck you in on a day to day thought process of getting caught up and stuff. That's probably the hardest thing I have right now is just not doing a consultation and remembering to say, okay, my associate's going to call you back, not me or something like that. Not just saying, okay, I'll help you out. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do the case myself. I'm supposed to give it out. I'm so used to like closing the deal and doing it myself. Um,
I hear you. I hear you. And I actually have one and a half executive assistants, and one of the half one is just the part-time one. Her job is to go through my emails at the end of every day and just sort of siphon things out so that it doesn't go ridiculous. But I mean, I just have one main law firm, but I do have other multiple emails, but for
yeah.
different entities. But yeah, I mean, I think it might be complicated to figure out which email to send to what for those type of things, but you could do that. And yeah, it's been really great help because otherwise I would probably be spending hours and hours a day going through email and also never feel like I could really properly unplug.
Well, it's kind of like if we get leads, we have fixed responses already that we use. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to respond to all of them. I like it's interesting when leads come in 'cause it's exciting. It's like, oh, I got a lead, but at the same time, there's just a lot of little things that like I don't really someone else could do. So I'm like, just give that email address to them. And but
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work out all this stuff.